The jet stream pattern this week is evolving into a high amplitude weather pattern. Now we'll see this from time to time. This is not, I don't want to set this up like it's some kind of a freak thing. It's most common in the springtime, but it hasn't really happened to this magnitude in several years. High amplitude, by that I mean the jet stream goes way up north, way down south, way up north, way down south, and in this case it actually continues like that. Each one of these W shapes is known as an omega block, and the block is key because that means that the pattern tends to be fairly slow to change. There'll be subtle variations, but not great ones. But this pattern is a little different than just a standard omega block. First of all, let's take it through this week. It will meander a little bit, but it won't really change positions all that much. And underneath this area where the jet goes up north, we get very warm and dry conditions. Where the jet goes south, we get very cool and wet. So we're going to have a big difference this week between the Great Lakes and the northern high plains. You want to see it again? Let's go back into the present and put it forward. We're not seeing any great changes here. We're just seeing some subtle slippages around North America. The interesting thing about this pattern, though, is that this time, it's not just over North America where it's like this, but it's really like this around the entire globe. Take a look. The jet stream is high amplitude out across the Atlantic, and then there's another big wavy pattern over Europe. Asia has the same thing, and the Pacific Ocean. It's a worldwide weather pattern, and it looks like the way it's setting up, it may be this way for a while. So wherever these ridges show up and stay, it's likely to be warm and dry for some time. Wherever it looks like this, it's likely to be cool and wet. But subtle differences can make a big change. Well, this week, let's take a look at how that impacts our weather. Fairly warm, in fact, in some cases hot, 80s and 90s will be building up into the plain states. It'll be cool in the northeast and in the Pacific Northwest the next several days. And of course, as this jet stream meanders a little bit, some parts of the upper Midwest and northern plains may cool off a bit, but probably not permanently. With the presence of this ridge here, there's always going to be the location and placement of some warm temperatures nearby. What does that mean for the precipitation? Well, generally speaking, there isn't going to be a lot. We'll see a few offshoots come across the Pacific, shoot across the northern plains, probably not doing much more than making some showers, and then we'll eventually see wet weather set up and take up residence in the northeast and in the Pacific Northwest. And the middle likely won't have a whole lot of precipitation. As we look ahead to the second week, the warm, dry weather will likely persist through the middle part of May throughout the northern plains and upper Midwest, while the Great Lakes are more cool and wet, and the difference will make all the difference in the world. So warm weather, dry weather will likely continue, which is great for planners.